Let me see if I can get a better angle on here. How's that? Is that better? I don't think so. Let's try it out. Think so. I hope so. Everybody, hope everybody's doing good. My name is Mario. Welcome back to Rise Above, where I'm going to help you, yes, you, find your superpower and become unrecognizable to everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's blessed. Hope everyone's healthy. Hope everyone's healthy in their mind, in their body, and in their spirit. My goal is to help you improve and transform in all three parts of your life. Today, I titled this live, Who is Controlling You? Because I'm realizing more and more as I work with newer people, as I meet new personalities, I realize a reoccurring pattern I tend to see in people that are unhappy, that are not where they want to be in life, which is whether they realize it or not, they're actually living a life that's controlled by the actions and the words of other people instead of living life on their own terms. What I mean is, you have people in your life that are going to literally suck the energy out of you if you allow them to. And just by doing that, you're allowing them to control your life. Now, if that sounds like somebody in your life, I want you to go ahead and drop a like on here. We're going to figure out how to change this. Let's see if we can come up with a solution on this live. How we're going to transform, no longer allow the energy vampires in your life to keep sucking and draining the energy from you. So, the first thing you have to understand is that there are certain people in life that their sole purpose is to identify with who they've always been, and there's nothing you can do to change that. What's going on, Nadine? Hope you're doing good. See, I used to, for a long time, try to figure out why people lied about me, why people tried to steal certain things from me, whether that was momentum, whether that was my reputation, whatever it is. And what I was made aware of years ago, which is I have to just accept that liars are gonna lie because that's their purpose in life, is to lie. And if you begin to understand that, you'll stop having expectations for other people to change and instead change how you feel when you interact with certain people. Now, you can take that a step further and begin cutting out the people in your life that are draining the energy from you. And by draining your energy, controlling you. One thing I tell my daughters all the time is you're going to have people that you're going to go to school with, eventually grow up and meet, and unfortunately work with or do business with. And their only purpose is going to be to try to make you feel a negative way, regardless of their reasoning. And it's going to be up to you if you allow them to accomplish that. But if you can have clarity and awareness that the things they say, the things they lie about you on, have zero power over you, if you're able to control your emotions and not let these things identify you and affect the decisions you make or the emotions you have, you keep the control and you keep the power instead of giving it away. This also happens through making excuses. If you make excuses as to why your life hasn't turned out the way you wanted it to, or why you think you've been held back from certain opportunities or a certain lifestyle, as long as you keep putting this blame on other people, you're going to keep giving these people the key to your life. But what you need to do is start understanding that the only way you're going to start not only changing, but start being actually happy and excited about this thing we call life is by jumping in the driver's seat and taking control of your actions, of your emotions, and of your thoughts. Sorry, guys. Get the fuck away. So drop a like if today's the day you're going to stop letting these energy vampires suck the life out of you. If you're going to cut out toxic people from your life. Perhaps this isn't the first time you've tried to change. Perhaps you've made attempts before only to fall short, not because of your shortcomings, but because of what other people said about you that you believe to be true. You see, there's something called imposter syndrome that gets thrown around a lot. And the truth is, anytime you do something new, you're going to not only be fighting imposter syndrome with the outside world, but you're going to be fighting it internally. But I want to tell you that that's part of the process. It's going to be uncomfortable at first because your brain is just not wired to make these kind of quantum changes. Our brains have been designed to keep us safe, and anytime you do something new, it sees it as a risk, as danger, and it'll try to have you go back to doing the things you were doing before that you no longer want to do. You have to be aware that we're all built with an internal thermostat. Now, if you know anything about thermostats, you know exactly how it works. Meaning, if you change the temperature on your thermostat in your house and you kick it up to 74 degrees, the moment the moment your house or your apartment begins to warm up and go past that, your thermostat kicks in and brings the temperature back down to 74. Or your brain works very similar to that in the sense that anytime that you're going to build momentum, you're going to have thoughts, you're going to have past beliefs and mindset that are going to try to regulate you and bring you back down to the energy and to the mindset and the habits that you once had. And it's up to you how much you can handle in a short amount of time. Because the truth is, real change, real change is a lifetime commitment. When I decided to get sober 4 years ago and make my nutrition, my my physical state of being, and my relationship with God a lifelong decision, that is something that I'm always going to be working on and be aware of, be conscious of. I no longer had to worry about hitting certain milestones by certain dates. Has there been setbacks? Of course. There's always going to be setbacks. But the difference between who I am now, who I was before, and what I want for you is to stop hoping that things always are good and that you never have problems. That's just not reality. What you need to hope for and what you need to work towards is to become better to handle the problems as they present themselves. And when you do that, you'll realize that life will not only give you bigger problems to take on, but it'll give you bigger opportunities. And in the bigger opportunities is where the big rewards come in. Because it's in these moments where you finally start just going for it instead of second guessing yourself and thinking about it and sitting on the bleachers instead of being in the game. So many people like to run their mouth and talk and judge and criticize from the stands, but so few are willing to actually get down and get on the field and play the game. And that's what changes. Changes when you stop looking at life as just a as a pedestrian, and instead start living your life as a main character. Stop being the extra in the movie that's called your life and start being the number one character in it. And you do that by not second guessing yourself when there's something that you want to go for that you know is going to you, whether it's a short-term reward or a long-term reward. You just got to go for it because most people will stay stuck in that area between wanting to do something and thinking about it, but never actually pulling the trigger because they're so worried about what their friends and family and coworkers are going to say about them. But that's not you anymore. I know that. I know that if you're still watching this. Because you see, when I tell a lot of people this, I can see when I lose people. Once you start having people actually be accountable for the things that they're supposed to do in their life, they know that it's a hell of a lot easier to just take a step back and keep living a life that they don't like, but they don't hate enough to change, instead of taking the steps forward to move into the uncomfortableness, to move into the unknown, and actually see what's on the other side of the door. So many people will go to their grave having made it to the front door of their dreams, but never actually stepping through. I don't want that for you, and I know damn well neither do you. If you have kids, How can you expect your kids to live a fulfilled life where they go after their dreams, where they go after their goals, when they see their dad or their mom not living up to the potential that they're capable of? A lot of the things I do for my kids because I want to set an example to them to let them know that there's nothing wrong with being unique. When you're a kid, being like everybody else is the most important thing in the world. If the people you look up to do the same, and the reality is, kids aren't going to follow what you tell them. They're going to follow what they see you do. And if they see you doing things like taking care of yourself, like getting up early to work out, like reading books that are going to feed your mind, passing wisdom on to them that you learn in your experience, in your transformation, and you not only elevate yourself, but you elevate your whole family. And so you have to understand that there's people waiting and depending on you to change. But unfortunately, most people just won't make that leap because other people are controlling them, because they have a boss that is constantly putting them down, because they're in a relationship where they're a doormat as opposed to a partner, or they're in a group of friends where their role in the group is to make everybody else feel better at the sacrifices of their own happiness, of their own potential. And if this is you, if this sounds familiar, and you know exactly what you need to do, you know the changes you need to make, and you know the things you need to cut out, whether that's drinking, whether that's drugs, whether that's endless scrolling. So who is controlling you? That's what you need to ask yourself. Because if you're not being um, responsible with the time that you have on this earth and with the few hours that you have every day to make something of yourself, then you better believe there's a ton of people that are waiting to fill that spot for you and have you do the things that they need you to do for them, as opposed for you living for yourself. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do today that's going to be different from what you did yesterday, what you did last week, last month, last year, or last 10 years? That's going to allow you to start feeling and start seeing the results that you once looked at as impossible. There is almost nothing that is impossible in this earth. And when I say almost, I mean a very thin margin for almost. But there's just about nothing that you can't do if you not only set your mind to it, but set your focus your energy, and your intention on. See, there's a big difference between waking up and simply going about your day and waking up and being excited for the day because you know you're going to leave it out. You're going to leave it all out on the field. That a job that you had that up to this point has been the source of your misery, of your unhappiness, can now be flipped around and now be the reason why you decide to make positive changes in your life so you can leave this job, so you can find something that fulfills you and pays your bill. But you can only do that when you have the clear intention of changing and of changing your circumstances, your situations, and not making excuses and not letting other people dictate how you should feel or what you should or shouldn't do. You see, there's people that are locked up right now doing hard time that are more free than some of the people that are walking around here because they've decided that the time that they're in there, they've decided to expand their mind, expand their awareness, become more valuable. So when they come out, they don't just come out to the circumstances that are going to be put on them, which is being a convict that can't find a job because they've got a record. So if you're walking around free on God's green earth and no one's locking the door behind you, then you should have zero excuses as to why you can't start today to start making the changes you need to make in order to create and design a life, a body, a bank account that you can finally be proud of. And what's even more beautiful than that is what comes as a result of all these things. You're now able to help more people. You're now able to help people that you love, people in your family that have maybe given up on looking to you for help, on people that perhaps supported you for a long time, but eventually gave up because they saw that you didn't have the drive or the ambition to help yourself. You can pay these people back by making the changes now. But you can only do that by freeing yourself from the people that are controlling you. It may not be somebody that's in your physical world. It may not be a coworker or a friend. It could be a device. It could be smoking. It could be drinking. You see, you have to understand all these things. Somebody's pulling the strings. It may not be the person that's working at the counter that's selling you whatever you're buying, but you better believe that there's somebody at the top of that food chain that's funding all this, and they're doing it with the intention of keeping you and millions of people in a low state of energy, of ambition, of drive, in order to control you. And the moment you can free yourself, you take all the power away from everyone. I hope this video serves somebody. If it did, please make sure smash that like button. If you're interested on more content regarding transformation, regarding change, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.